I'm comfortable this week, but I also have a sweater on. I'm reading the comments for our feedback and suggestions to the city survey.
Good, how are you?
216.
Oh,
That's it.
wow. That's wonderful.
Which is better than nothing.
Oh, that's wonderful. 216.
We
Executive.
called our councilman numerous.
No, but I'll just make a statement that, we filed
We
our
should have
brief
a class on
on our
racism.
opposing the appeal today.
That must be,
But there's no reason to make that executive.
Mo. He's willing to put it on for us for $1,000.
Okay. We'll go ahead and call to order the Ravenna City Council meeting for Monday, October 2nd at 6 p.m. The first item on the agenda is a moment of meditation and silence. And would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I do.
And Chelsea, would you call the roll?
Mr. Kelfi?
Here.
Ms. West? Here. Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael? Yes. Mr. Harris?
Here.
Ms. Wood? Here. Mr. Harper?
Here.
All right, and we have, next item on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes from regular city council meeting of September 5th, excuse me. Were there any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Communications this evening, do we have any written communications? Okay, there should be a letter from, I think it was Neighborhood Development Corporation of Akron. And then delegations from the public this evening. I know that on the agenda, we have Mr. David Shea from Community Action Council, so I can turn it over to you if you'd like this evening.
I don't really have canned presentations, so I'll just wing it. First of all, I want to say thank you, Chelsea, thank you, Mr. President, thank you, Mayor, for putting us on the agenda. Just lost my train of thought already. I don't want anything, that's not why I'm here. I don't have any problems that you guys can help with, at least. And I just came from the dentist, so forgive me. Most of you, I think, know pretty much who we are and kind of what we do. We've been around for 60 years. Mr. Calfee and I were just talking about how long we've been around, right about 5 minutes ago. Okay, it's been a while. Our office is in Ravenna. Our first director was a gentleman by the name of Marcus Roberto. He was a history professor at the school district, and as you know, he became a very well-respected state senator. I want to tell you a little bit about us, then I'll get to the ask. Our core funding, we're the only nonprofit in the area that receives funding directly from Congress. Excuse me, I think I swallowed something wrong. It's called the Community Service Block Grant. It's funded directly by Congress. So in reality, we don't know exactly what our funding is going to be next year. We have a pretty good guess. It's going to be about $325,000 a year. And we have a total budget of about $12.8 million. CSBG is kind of unique because there are 48 community action agencies around the state that are funded through it. All of them have comparable programs, but all of them also have different programs because all of our programs are tailored to the needs of Portage County and Ravenna. That's really why I'm here. Every 3 years, we have to do a community needs assessment. And there's a whole lot of demographics in there. There's a whole lot of United Way stuff. There's all kinds of reports that we reference, including the visioning report. We also do a community needs assessment survey. And I think Chelsea probably gave you guys a copy of it, right? It's a QR code. It's really simple. You could take 5 minutes or 30 seconds out and take care of it. We have about 250 so far, but I really would like your input. what's needed, what aren't we doing, and I'm not just talking about us, what aren't the social service providers in the county doing? What should we be doing? That kind of good information. And there's a lot of room to write, so please do it. I really appreciate it. In 24-25, we're going to operate about 36 programs, believe it or not, ranging in from the HEAP program, which I think everybody knows, to our weatherization program, to a lot of food assistance. I just met with Candace Curtis Friday from the Ben Curtis Foundation. They are hammered. I mean, she's beside herself. She is running out. So we're going to try to help her too if we can. One of the programs that a lot of people don't know about, because it's not truly a low-income program, is we have our technology center. We have a global testing program. Between 2,500 and 3,000 people come into Ravenna annually to take a wide variety of online tests for insurance agents, for Department of Transportation.
We
She doesn't wanna
administer
talk.
about 10,000 different assessments, and it can range anywhere from someone getting their GED all the way up to FBI, Border Patrol, nurses. We just started the police, I can't remember what it's called, but police officers will come in to be able to take their test to be able to be a patrolman. It's huge. So people who shovel sidewalks and move water have to have a certification we administer.
Masseuses.
The ranges.
We've had a neurosurgeon come in from Pittsburgh and take an online test. He didn't like that. He had to anyway. It's continuing education. So really, we want to know what you guys think we should be doing. Let me give you a little bit of background information. The poverty rate in Portage County is measured differently depending upon what source you're using. We use the HHS poverty guidelines. We'll go 100% of poverty, 125, 150, 200, et cetera. When you hear people talking about the poverty rate, they're talking about 100% of the poverty rate. That's not a fair number because none of the programs we operate operate under that poverty level. We usually use 200%. About 45% of all the families in Ravenna are below 200% of poverty. That's a lot of people. The poverty rate in the school system, based upon the report cards, which is a really good source of information because it's updated annually, is 44%. Ravenna, it's hard to say because 100% of all the children in the district are eligible for the federal school lunch program. I think the poverty rate for the kids in the district is about 72%. I'm losing my voice. The top three needs, every time we do a needs assessment, we access a lot of data, are always food, housing, and utilities. And housing encompasses a wide range of things, like rental assistance, like mortgage assistance, like property taxes, like utilities, like homeowner assistance, a whole bunch of stuff. Home repair, weatherization. This year, we think we're gonna try, we are gonna implement about 5 new programs. One of them is a senior property maintenance program, because we're getting inundated with phone calls from seniors who can't take care of their yard, who need somebody to mow their grass, who need somebody to help them shovel snow. So that's a process I'm gonna be working on over the next month. Another one, we're collaborating with Catholic Charities to expand the car repair program. And it's gonna be focused on meeting some type of educational or employment objective, not just somebody who needs a car fixed. It has to be tied to some kind of outcome. We still have money for rental assistance through ARPA. Regina can answer any questions you want. It's gonna go through September of '25. We have about $200,000 left. The problem with it is, it's all COVID related.
I was going to
Ask-
ask if you still had COVID money.
Yes,
And if you're seeing, that decrease with the use of it.
we are.
And it's sitting there,
We are.
can you use it for
I think-
anything, past COVID issues or?
Okay, I shouldn't say this, yes.
Oh, yeah, she's like saying,
So by the way, I'm Regina Holliday. I
I'm sorry.
am the director over the home relief stuff and everything else he tells me to do.
As
Would
we
you
get
step
further-
up
further-
to
as
the
we get further
microphone
and further
closer?
Away from COVID.
Yourself?
I'm sorry, say again?
Would you step up to the microphone closer?
Yeah, you won't hear me anymore.
Thank you.
So with the rent money that we have available, it's 80% of median for income for families, so it's a pretty high, decent amount of income for families. They have to have a COVID hardship. So the COVID hardship is from April 1st of 2020 up until current. So if someone has a letter that they lost a job a year and a half ago and they've been trying to struggle, we can still take that. The only difference now is that we have to be able to prove that COVID hardship. When we had money last year, we had like $10 million. Government said everyone had COVID, spend it. So we just threw the money at everybody. Yes, we did. There was a lot of money and everybody suffered from COVID.
But everybody had the eligible.
Yes, but everybody had COVID pretty much. So in the process of all that, it can be a letter from your doctor, if someone who is asthma or something and is critical to their health, they can get a letter and we can use that. So the range is big. We just tell everybody, call us and ask us, because the one thing is that you may not think about it, but I can pick your brain and pull something out of you that you may not even think is a COVID hardship.
So if you don't use all that COVID money, I mean, it's going back, correct?
We'll
And-
use it,
Okay. You
Yeah.
find it.
How much did you say you have left?
200,000.
That's not a lot of
No,
money.
no, considering we've spent over 10 million since November of 2020. Also too, I'm throwing it in there.
About 40% of that for veterans.
We also have home ownership money. So if you own your home or you know someone who owns their home and they are under it, I believe it's 300% of poverty level, which is 103,000 for one person in your household.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We can help pay property taxes if it's not connected with a mortgage, and we can pay their utilities for up to 6 months as long as we have funding. And we have about $300,000 of that, so just FYI.
Thank you.
That's one of the reasons we're here, because we want to let you know what we're doing. And if you have any constituents that need help, reach out to us, or have them reach out to us. We always return phone calls, no matter what. We always try to help as many people as we can. The money's going away. Your question was, I think we have 25 rental assistance applications pending right now. In 2020, at the same period of time, we probably had 500. So as the further and further you get away from the COVID pandemic, you know, the harder it is for somebody to say, yeah, I had a COVID impact. But we have about 12 things we can count on. If you had COVID, if you lost your job, if you have long COVID, there's a whole bunch of things that we can make you eligible for. Because we're not trying to not help people. We're trying to get out. Because once this money's gone, it's gone, you know. And we work partnerships out with just about every agency in the county. You heard Regina talking about our homeownership funding. That's through the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. The income guidelines are very high. Probably as of December 31st, most of that is going to go away, except for property taxes. So about 2 years ago, we worked out a collaboration agreement with the Portage County Treasurer, where he sends out flyers every time the taxes are due. And we're targeting seniors. And we've seen some, because we don't want people to lose their home because they can't pay property taxes and they're eligible. So, any questions you have, reach out. Anything you want to ask us now?
I had two questions real
Sure.
quick. Just the one, I wanted to confirm the numbers because we sped through it quickly, and I'll follow up
Sure.
on some other questions. But you said you spent $10 million just in Portage County since
Yep.
April of 2020, is that what? November 2020.
November.
And there's $200,000 left over from that. Is that right?
That was called HRG. That was ERA 1. ARPA is ERA 2.
Okay.
Believe me, we got confused too.
We've
Okay.
had 3 pots of money. Well, we've had more than 3 pots, but we've had 3 pots for renters. So in November 2020, we started a program which was called CRF, and we had like $770,000. And we spent that by December 31st.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
And then March of 2021, we received, it was like 1 million, and they upped it to like another 8 million. So we had like 9 million there, and then we had homeowner money that came in that we used, and that was, I think, around $600,000. $1 million on line.
Million.
So when you add all the different pots up, now we have what he just said, AIR2, which we call HRG to try and.
Stands for the
ARPA.
American Rescue Act.
ARPA money. So now we had $1 million in that, and we've dwindled it down to that, and then we also have OPA money. so we have different pots of money. So when you just go to adding it all up, it's gonna work. The thing, because the other thing I'll throw in too is that one of the things is that if you're income eligible, if your rent's $1 a month and you need that, we can do that. If your rent is, God forbid, at the Barrington and Aurora, which is $3,000 a month, we can pay that. So there was no caps to say, rent is averaged at $750 a month. So whatever the rent was, we could pay that. And we can pay delinquent and possibly 3 months in advance, up to 18 months right now. So if someone has to pay rent for a year.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, yeah, and in my mind, it was, showing that the amount that you've done already, and then demonstrating the need, I guess, that the amount that you've spent. The other question I had real quick, that you mentioned the poverty, 300% of the poverty,
200%.
200%, what is that number you said? You gave a salary or a number, 103?
I did. This is for.
No, she was talking about OFA.
Okay,
This is for the homeowners, so someone
OFA.
who needs property taxes.
The Ohio Housing Finance Agency determined the income guidelines for every county in Ohio based upon the median income in Delaware, Ohio. And if you know anything about Delaware, Ohio, Dublin, it's up there.
yeah,
So the average for the one person is like, I believe it's
A
139,000.
family of 4, it's $147,000 a year.
okay.
So,
I'm
147,000.
saying 103, 33.
Yeah, 103 for family of
Oh,
1.
I said 100, I apologize.
For most of the ARPA funding right now, it's basically about $43,000 a year
Okay.
for a family of 4. So there's different poverty guidelines, okay, like I said. For our weatherization program, it's 200% of poverty, which changes every 5 minutes, and that's about $50,000 a year. HEAP is a little bit different, but everything's related.
I wanted to say, so you were talking about the new program with seniors.
Yeah.
When that comes up and you are starting to run that, if you could get our service director
Sure.
or our building department that information
Sure.
and council as well. Because we do see that quite often, seeing
We
that
do
there's a
too.
lot of older people that live in the city that aren't having the people, and we've been talking with some of our property maintenance people about that, and, it's hard because we're trying to work on property maintenance, but at the same time, some of the seniors, that live in these older homes, they can't afford to fix them, or they don't have the people or find people to
know.
do that. So that is a huge need, and especially for our seniors that live here in Ravenna.
Right.
So, that I would be very
And our
interested.
goal is to keep people in their homes too, as long
Absolutely.
as possible.
And if we could, find the more people that are doing that, the agencies that are, to collaborate, that, we can connect our residents with
Yeah.
and help.
We don't have a lot of money available for that program right now, or we're gonna stick in as much money as we can.
Right.
And we're gonna try to find a couple of small businesses.
Even the
to-
safety issues, some of
Yeah.
them that, are just like gutters or, things that with their lawn or ice or, just things like that make a huge difference.
And we found that, because we have a home repair program funded through the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, the Ohio Housing Trust Fund, which can do a lot of minor home repairs. It's not an emergency type program, but it can do stuff like that. And, we've had guys go out and just mow the grass for them.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're gonna get, somebody from some municipality is going to reach out to them and say, cut your grass,
Right.
Just the way it is.
And we don't know what's going on in the, after just
We'll be happy
driving
to
by.
keep you in the loop forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
And you got me on speed dial, so.
I do. I know how to get a hold of you, and I appreciate all you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You guys have anything else? I'm sorry, I keep losing my voice, and I think I swallowed something in the dentist office I probably shouldn't have.
We have water in the room in the
I have
next
water.
room over if
I
you
have
need.
water.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Tell your
Thank
wife I
you.
said hi. Okay, good.
Yep, thank you.
And it'd really be helpful to us if you take a couple of seconds at some point in time and do the needs assessment and tell us anything that you see that you would like us to address, or like somebody to address, because believe me, I'll get it out there. If we can't do it, I'll find somebody that can. Okay?
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. And then with that tonight, for delegations from the public, I believe, Mr. Peets, you're going to speak a little.
Yeah, I'm here for two quick things. first one is I'm the chairman of the JED with Ravenna and Ravenna Township. And that agreement comes to an end at the end of this year. And so and it's under old requirements. And we're looking at that, and it's, the new requirements are much more streamlined. It was really easy to process the JED with you in Rootstown, for example. So our committee had decided that maybe it's better to go under the new guidelines and basically, what's the word I'm looking for, disband, and let you in Ravenna Township come together and start a new one with the new rules, which makes it a lot easier to conscript people into the JED, has better clarification for residential entities. People shouldn't, you live there, you don't get charged the JED fees. As long as if you're working, you're going to be working under if you're in the township, then you would be paying the JED fee. So all I'm doing is giving you like an upfront notification that we've officially as a board recommended to disband, and I believe Dennis West and the mayor, or maybe Frank's involved too, with coming up with the new language. They'll present it probably in a few weeks. Is that correct, Mayor?
Yes, I'll submit a tracking sheet recommending the disbandment of the current one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to give you an update on that. And the other update is the comprehensive plan, which I love the comprehensive plan. So we've been working with Cheryl on trying to come up with a steering committee. We met on Tuesday last week. So they I guess worked with you, Cheryl worked with you, Andrew, and helping. We gave about 20 different names and agencies and all that to Cheryl and Andrew to look at and pick through. The ones that weren't put on the steering committee are basically, we're gonna interview all of them, including Mr. Shea. I think CIC was on that list as well. And so we talked about that. We talked about the fact that this isn't the Todd Peets plan. This is the City of Ravenna plan. So we've got a lot of the data completed. We have a lot of the maps completed, but it doesn't have the city's flair yet. And so I wanted to let you know, once we have that steering committee, do a SWOT. We also are aware of other activities in the city, such as, I believe, oh gosh, I can't remember. There's a market study, or maybe a market study that's helping the businesses from full spectrum. So there's that, and then I also am aware of a grant that was received, a USDA grant that was received, I think, by Main Street, and they're also going to be focusing on Main Street. So I'd like to get those players together. So if they're sending out surveys, for example, that we collaborate on the surveys, so people aren't getting surveyed 3 times, and once you do that, people will want to stop taking the surveys. We also have a survey that we want to give to the schools. What I mean by the schools is the high school, and get the students at the high school to also participate in what they'd like to see. One of the things that, this is supposed to be a surprise, but you guys could just pretend like you didn't know. Is one of the things we're working on is as part of the final product. So there's the comp plan, which is the boring document you read. The other half of our agreement was to do a summary comp plan with access for the public to really get in and see the information as it's available. But at the same time, I also believe that this is a marketing document too about the city and how good great it is. So we, when I met with Cheryl, I met her husband as well. He does drone footage, and so we're going to have drone footage of like the Balloon Affair, of certain different parades. I can get drone footage of the car show, for example. But we also want to fly over parks, and the schools, and down Main Street, and some of the older neighborhoods in the township. And basically, we have identified those areas to use, but we want to do it right now when the leaves are changing, so it'll have an extra impact and punch to it, so to speak. And part of the idea there is to also invite like the mayor or Andrew or anybody on city council to talk about the city in a positive manner. Have maybe Bob Finney talk about what it's like to have roads and the infrastructure that we're redoing, because there's a lot of positive there. We were talking about having Dennis talk about economic development opportunities, maybe Judy Watkins talking about the parks, having someone in the school board talking about the schools. Something that people would be interested in hearing about, to know that this is a great community. And I already looked at some of the footage that Cheryl's husband took of the Balloon Affair, which is really cool. The balloons are coming off out of the ground and they're going. It was really nice footage. So I'm excited about that, and I'm sure the other footage that we get will also be really awesome. So I'm positive. I just wanted to, wanted to get that steering committee going and maybe have a community meeting either before the holidays or immediately right after the holidays, so we can get our first community meeting out of the way. So that's what I was here to talk about.
Appreciate the update.
All right, thank you.
And just to full disclosure, John JW Photography is donating all of his time to help Todd and RPC complete the plan for the city.
There was a lot of begging, and Cheryl had the most say in everything, so that's good. So anyways, appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, any other delegations from the public this evening? With that, then we'll move on to the report of officials, which should be in your packet. Were there any questions on what was submitted? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept as submitted?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Committee meetings will be at 6 PM on October 16th, beginning with utilities. Mr. Moskin.
Nothing at this point.
All right, and information systems, Ms. West.
To be determined.
Planning, Mr. Karas.
Yeah, we have an item on the agenda tonight, and we will have a meeting in 2 weeks.
And the committee of the whole will be October 23rd at 6 PM. Is there anything for public health and safety, Ms. Michael?
Yes, we have, I don't know if everyone's gotten the email where the chief just submitted it, Chelsea uploaded it, and so if you have any questions, please look at that. Also, we will be having a committee meeting next month. There are some topics that we need to talk about.
All right. Streets and sidewalks, Mr. Harper?
Nothing for consideration this evening, meeting to be determined.
All right. Personnel, Mr. Calfee?
No meeting planned.
All right. And community and economic development, Ms. Wood?
To be determined.
Yep. Any updates on the cemetery?
Yes. We'll be purchasing a new mower. It's a commercial mower. The reason this will be purchased, the engine on the old one, it quit. And to fix it, including labor, it would cost close to $5 grand. It's commercial, and this new one will be $74.50. So that will be acquired very soon. And the general fund financially looks, thankfully, very good. And I'll say there's a new employee at the cemetery. She's not additional. I want to make sure and say that. One of the others decided it was time for her to move on. So there was another girl hired this past week.
All right. Anything we're missing, Mr. Harper?
Still waiting on the paving. That should be coming soon.
Yes.
All right. Any updates from Parks and Rec?
Yes, I'd like to alert you to a couple big capital improvement projects that are getting ready to be undertaken. At Chestnut Hills Playground, the turf is going to be replaced. And the turf, it's a great feature of the park. It's kind of worn out. The price for new turf's about $180,000. So it's a big expense, but it is something that's quite good for that park. All of the buildings in the park are also being repainted. And we have an artist that we've brought on for that project. The other big project that we're looking at is resurfacing the tennis courts at City Park. They've been resurfaced so many times that they need to have a complete resurface job down to the soil. And when we get the new ones put in, we will have dedicated tennis courts and pickleball courts at the City Park. So those are two big projects that are coming up that I wanted to alert you to.
And just wanted to correct Mr. Calfee on the painting of the park. It's going to be our local artist, Tiffany Welling, and Friends of the Park is paying for that. So Tiffany is she's starting on Friday, and she was one of the original artists that did do all the painting on all of those. So she's going to be starting that Friday, taking everything home and doing it by hand. So a huge shout out to Tiffany Welling, our local Ravenna artist. Thank you.
All right. With that, we'll move on to first reading of ordinances, beginning with ordinance number 2023-109.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, authorizing the police chief or his designee to enter into a contract with Motorola Solutions for a dispatch console system and extended warranty in the police dispatch center from Funds 101 and 553 and declaring an emergency.
And this is sponsored by Public Health and Safety. Ms. Michael?
Yes, this is for the amount of around roughly $275,000. I wasn't here at this meeting when the chief did talk about it. All the information is in the contract if you want to look at it. I don't believe I talked with the chief. Nothing has changed on this. It is a 5-year term. I don't know, is there anything the contract is 5 years for the maintenance. Is there anything more to add on that, Jeff?
Just the initial, on section 5 of the contract, it has the pricing, so it's $253,092 for the equipment, and then overall, it's $379,560. And we, at the beginning of this year, budgeted that money, because we knew we were gonna need to spend at least $300,000 on equipment. It came in under that about $47,000, but then the total price of the 5 years is $379,560. So each of the 4 years is about $30,000 to $32,000 of support, which totals $126,468. So it's on that section 5 of the contract.
And the maintenance part is paid out over 5 years, so
Yes.
that total you mentioned is actually not what we're going to pay this year.
No, correct.
All right. Any questions on this item?
And I just want to also say that our dispatch department is doing very well. They are thriving, and this is just going to be another added bonus on why the people we have are going to continue to want to stay with us, because our technology and our service is once again doing a wonderful job. So thank you.
All right. Any questions on this ordinance? Hearing none, do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And do we have a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And then a motion to pass the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2023-110.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to apply for the Quadratech Care Energize the Environment Grant Program in the sum of $3,500 and to accept and appropriate the grant funds if awarded and declaring an emergency.
This is sponsored by Planning. Mr. Karas?
Yeah, so Parks and Rec is looking to get $3,500. There's no match for this. And if they get the money, that will be used to develop trails at our new Emerald Lake Preserve.
It'll be a nice asset.
Good luck.
Is there any questions on this item? Hearing none, do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And then a motion to pass the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2023-111.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign an easement to allow First Energy to run electrical services to LG Chem America and declaring an emergency.
And I believe we got the email. This is sponsored by Community and Economic Development, so I'll turn it over to you before I say anything, but go ahead.
Yes, they are still tweaking the contract. Time is of the essence as soon as we can get all the final verbiage together so that LG Chem can get started open and start employing new employees as soon as possible, but.
Yep, and I think right now, leave it here for second reading, or would you like to?
I'd leave it on first reading, and hopefully I'll be asking for a special at
The 23rd?
Committee of the Whole.
Yep.
Okay.
We have a meeting tomorrow with them.
Okay. So we'll stand by for updates. Is there any question from council on this item? So we'll leave this here, moving on to ordinance number 2023-112.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2022-125 by amending Exhibit A of ordinance number 2022-125, Section 5, Mayor's Department, subsection A, and Section 18, Salary Employees, overtime exempt by adding a new position, Director of Information Services, and declaring an emergency.
And this is sponsored by Personnel, Mr. Calfee.
This is a position that we had in the past, but have not had for the last few years, and it's reestablishing the position, and it's a position that pretty universally people in the city have supported and want to move forward with it.
What exactly is this position? I'm sorry, I missed the committee meeting on this, so, wait a minute. This is the salary for,
Should be in the packet, but it's Director of Information Services.
Information technology.
Yeah.
so we
You
went
may have,
ahead-
yeah.
Yeah, I was here when we talked about it, and then it went to committee, so where were we with that? So it got moved forward?
So logistically, we would pass this tonight, or we would keep it here. There's no real rush. The mayor would then present it with the payroll ordinance. So you correct me if I'm wrong, but the presentation to council wouldn't come until we were closer to the end of the quality IP contract. Or
Okay, I guess I just had a question about this position as far as, and I'm sorry, I guess I missed the meeting, and that's my fault. But will this position, who will this position report to? Is it a position under the mayor? I mean,
Yes.
everyone's looking at me like a deer in the headlights, I'm
Yeah.
just asking.
No, that's a good, that's good to find
So,
out.
this position is a position that is gonna be reporting to the mayor, correct?
Yes. Be reporting to council also.
Okay, and is this position, does it have a job description to it?
Yes.
Yeah, we've had this position in the past.
Yes, we've had it in the
Well-
past. We're just trying to establish the position because our contract goes clear to July with IP, and we need to start looking at how we're going to break that out. And some stuff we'll have to keep with quality IP. But we have other positions that have been established without a name attached to it. And we still have to bring that name in here once
So-
we decide.
Just a question, will this position, will the person have to have a background of computers? Will they have a degree in computers?
That's what the job is.
Well, I'm just asking, I don't
It would
have a
be-
job
No, we're gonna
description,
hire a
so.
Yeah.
butcher.
Well, I'm asking a simple question.
No, if she doesn't know, then
Yeah, I
good thing to
wasn't-
ask.
I'm asking.
We don't have a job, council wasn't presented a
No,
job
we don't have a
description.
job description.
No.
I just was new to me. Last I knew, we were only talking about it, and I apologize.
But I think-
I'm just asking a question
No,
before
Yeah.
we
you
vote
don't
on
need to
it.
apologize.
Yes, there is a job description.
And do we have it?
It's in existence. I don't know if you've seen it.
Present it to council.
I don't think during the discussion we had it come
No.
forward.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this action tonight is to just put back the Director of Information Services into the payroll ordinance, not necessarily to hire anybody right away or,
But if you put it back, you have the ability to hire somebody. So
Yeah.
until.
Yes.
But we
The-
also, when we're looking at this, we don't want to wait until we're done with the quality IP contract to hire somebody. We need to take our time and kind of weave it in together instead of waiting till right when this ends to hire somebody, because quality IP is going to be staying on. So we want to bring someone on, or quality IP or a service like that.
Well, that's my point, that I think right now, if council is comfortable with with passing this and establishing this position, we can do it now, or we can leave it on for second reading. And if we want to get a job description, learn a little bit more about it, I envision it the same way it sounds like you do, that background in computers, it is the advocate on behalf of the city, solely focused on IT services, so that's it.
But once we vote on it, it's there, so it's not
Right.
gonna be council say-so. So like I said, I just had a question about it, so it was just discussed briefly when we had talked about it.
This was all started by council.
Yeah.
You
Right.
asked to have
Right.
a separate person that's here to serve us.
Correct.
We have gone and put this together
Right.
to get it on the books so that we aren't wasting our time
I think
with it.
Well, if everybody's comfortable right now, then we just leave it, because like I just said, the mayor, you weren't gonna present an actual position or hire this position until we were closer to the end of the quality IP contract, so I mentioned it to Mr. Calfee and the mayor before the meeting, that really there is no rush. If we wanna check the box and get this done now, we can, but if we wanna wait and leave it for second reading, then let's just do that, if that's where the comfort level is right now.
Yeah.
We can also ask for the next time through, if there's a job description, that we get that, and then we can just take a look at what that would look like, and,
And with this particular appointment, I still think would have the approval of council.
okay,
I'm not lobbying, I don't care how we do it, it's not urgent right now.
right.
So I just had a question about the description in the payroll ordinance. It says the position will be paid from the general fund. Now, is that normal? I thought they usually divided up, general fund, water department, you know what I mean? And then it says distributed to various funds based on computer workstations. I'm not sure what that,
Well, so.
it sounds like the money, instead of paying the person, is gonna be distributed to somebody else, the way it reads. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I mean, so, we split out a lot of the different positions,
Right.
a lot of our different salaries. I mean, so this one would be split on, basically, loosely, the number of computers in departments. So, fire department, police department, they're gonna fall into the general fund, but ones like maybe the plants, I mean, anything in the wastewater plant will fall in the 677 sewer fund. So that'll be some kind of allocation of their salary, so it's not 100% general fund. So what percentage that exactly will be is to be determined. It'll be an accounting entry to try to figure that out.
Yeah, I kind of get that, and I know that's historically done for certain types of positions like this, that is, covers other, serves all these different
Yeah.
departments. I'm saying the wording is a little bit odd, to say that the person's paid from the general fund and then distributed to, so I don't know if you want to look that over and see if we do leave this on, I suggest maybe rewording
We're
it,
just
so.
beginning to look at this.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's old language from when they had it in
Yeah, could be,
2017,
could be.
probably. So, because we're just reestablishing the position, so I bet you that's from that. Yeah, it'd actually be preferred to be able to set a certain percentage, and you say 10% sewer, 8% this, or whatever. It'd be a lot easier, so we can just make the payment, and then the payroll system splits it out for us, instead of having to backtrack and try to do a journal entry every month. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. With that-
And it also means it could be changing every year.
Well, it would be,
you
based on
change-
this, it potentially could change depending on if you had more people. Like, if we added somebody to the water plant or the wastewater plant, it could potentially change the allocation slightly.
Or just add another workstation. It doesn't
Add
really
another
talk about
workstation.
people, it says workstation.
Right.
And the way that it's worded, it could change much sooner than that.
We do a similar type of charge with the leaf pickup, the limb pickup, that gets charged to recycling. So they have to keep track of the time that they have
Right.
in that, so.
Well, I'm suggesting we leave this here. Mayor, I'll work with you. I think this is needed, and I'll stand by that this needs to get done. So I think checking the box, and then I'll communicate to council, working with Mr. Calfee, on what the job description looks like and everything else. So if council's comfortable, we'll leave it here. Is there any other questions as it pertains to this agenda item? Moving on to ordinance number 2023-113.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to prepare and submit an application to the Ohio Public Works Commission for funding for the Spruce and Jefferson Water and Sidewalks Improvement and further authorizing the mayor, in the event the application is approved, to execute the necessary contracts and to participate in funding the city's local share in the sum of $300,000. I don't have it.
What is that?
It's, we amended it. I don't have the amended copy. Share for 300, for the subject project.
I got you, hold on. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to prepare and submit an application to the Ohio Public Works Commission for funding for the Spruce and Jefferson water and sidewalks improvements, and further authorizing the mayor, in the event the application is approved, to execute the necessary contracts and to participate in funding the city's local share of $300,000 for the subject project and declaring an emergency. And this says sponsored by council as a whole. Mr. Harper, I don't know if you want to speak to this or if there's any utilities, or Mr. Moskin.
That's why I
Excuse me.
wasn't sure which way it was going, streets or utilities.
Yep. Well, either way, I think we would discuss this in committee.
I think it was not.
It was added, you're right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why it says committee of the whole.
Yes.
I think it was originally from
And,
Mr. Bowen was the one who submitted the tracking sheet.
and basically, this is just allowing him to apply for the funds for this
Yeah.
project.
Right.
I know the project itself would be quite important. Things like these things need to be done.
Yeah, the tracking sheet's actually in the packet.
Is there a date for the application? Do you know?
Typically, they're pretty quick.
End of October?
So I'm tracking.
Oh, this is the one we had to endorse.
Well, section 3 of the ordinance does say it's due in October.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say when.
The tracking sheet says in October, but it doesn't say exactly when.
Well, we talked about this a little bit this afternoon, and basically, not only application, but it authorizes the mayor to also put in place the necessary steps to go ahead and fund the city's $300,000 participation portion of a $600,000 grant. So it's $250,000 from the state, a $50,000 loan, and $300,000 from the commitment from the city to complete the project. So that was the only issue, the idea that how much is it the city is committing itself to, and after talking with Tammy and with Chelsea, we put in the $300,000 to be the commitment that the mayor would have the authority to move forward with if we get the grant.
Okay. Is council comfortable moving this forward?
I am.
Do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved?
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Cares?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
No, that's not.
So moved?
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Cares?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And then a motion to pass the ordinance.
So moved?
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Cares?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
All right. That is everything on the agenda this evening, or on the first reading of ordinances, excuse me. We have nothing on second or third reading of ordinances. Is there any old or new business to come before council? If I could defer to you, if you want to speak on that here, or should we
Today we
save it?
filed our brief in opposition to the appeal, Today we filed the brief in opposition to the appeal that was filed by the township in relation to the Maple Grove Cemetery. So that is now before the appellate court, and they will schedule oral argument sometime in the next 6 months or so. So that's that. I believe that there's also been notification in the Staples matter that the court down at the 10th Circuit has now in the process of choosing 3 of their panel to sit and hear the oral arguments that would be dealing with the case now pending in the 10th District Court of Appeals on the mandamus action.
All right. Well, I'll skip my remarks for this evening. Ms. Wood, do you want to start with you this evening, if there's anything you'd like to say?
Nothing from me.
We're just going to switch it up.
You did.
I have nothing.
I'm left-handed, so I usually go that way.
Yeah, no additional comments, but thank you for starting on this side.
Nothing for myself today.
All right, Mr. Karas?
So a few of us had the opportunity to attend the Celebrate Portage event, the dinner and award ceremony last Thursday, and it was, regardless of who won or who didn't win, I think it was inspiring to see so many people in our county worthy of such awards. Everyone was worthy of an award. So it's just, every once in a while, it's nice to take a breath and see what the good things are in our county and have an opportunity to celebrate that. The second thing is this Saturday is our last, the city's last edition, or the chamber's last edition of Ravenna Rocks. So I believe it starts around 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
I was gonna mention, talking today, they're gonna make a decision Wednesday whether to cancel or not because of the weather forecast.
Well, assuming the weather holds up. There's an interesting band playing at 6 o'clock, so you might want to come out.
We'll have to move it indoors here if it gets canceled.
Be a little loud in here, but anyway, that's all I have.
Ms. Michael?
No, I have nothing.
Mr. Harper?
Nothing additional.
All right, Mayor, I'll turn it over to you.
Just a couple of things. The letter that you got earlier that you read is the Neighborhood Development Corporation of Akron is going to be doing a remodeling of 83 units at Woodgate. They're going to be the Russian Meadows. It's all senior citizen housing. So that's a rather large thing. Bob also got a copy of this so that they're trying to establish that they're going to stay within the zoning rules and those sorts of things. But that's good news. I have something I just got in the mail today, and that's prepare for assistance to firefighter grant application period. So that's, maybe do you have that information, Chief? Okay, well, I'll have it for you tomorrow. But just a couple of notices. There's going to be a change in Rita. The gentleman that headed that up is going to retire, and they're going to be under new management. He's going to stay there until they find a successor with that. Then that's kind of a heads up. The other one that I wanted to mention was I got a letter from East Ohio. I don't know if the rest of you got anything along these lines, but they're being taken over by another group, and I look for the cost of gas to go up. They do provide a sheet. This is just an example what they're talking about, but they have to go to the PUCO to get approval for this. But I thought you should be aware that that this is in the works with that. And the last thing I have, I received a letter today from the people that head up the Chesty Puller Young Marines group. And they are trying to get to be part of the national movement to recognize illicit drugs and the awareness of the dangers of having these drugs. They asked if I would write a proclamation, which I will be glad to do. If, as you go around town, you see those little signs, there's one right out here where my car is parked. It basically says, "Stay off of drugs." They put those up years ago here. But they are asking that if I would, the week is the week of the 23rd, which will be the same time we have our the committee of the whole, they asked if they could come and be presented the proclamation here, and if anyone has no objection to that, I'd like to do that.
Absolutely.
These folks work with
Absolutely.
kids that have problems, and they make good citizens out of them. It's a good group. So if that's good with you, I will tell them.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's everything on the agenda. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.